I can't be the only one that when looking at Oribos immediately just sees a Titan facility very similar to, for example, Ulduar. Primus had an ally that gave him the ability to see alternate realities, and the Titan aman'thul created a bronze dragonflight and allowed them to do pretty much the same. The sister of the Winter Queen could be the Titan Eonar, and I can't be the only one that sees the Shadowlands as ordered to the tiniest detail and eerily Titan-like. So what is the influence of the Titans upon the realm of death, and what do we know thus far? Brought to you by Gamivo.com. Make sure to click the link in the description and get Shadowlands as well as game time at discounted prices. Long ago, we saw the Titans as the ultimate gods of the universe. Then, Chronicle happened, and we learned about the cosmology chart and realized that they're just one of the forces in the universe, in particular, forces of order. With the same line of thinking, just how we have the forces of order, we also have the forces of death. It was confirmed by Blizzard that the pantheon of death, the eternal ones, the leaders of the different Shadowlands realms, are all tied to other pantheons in the universe, in particular, the pantheon, which are the Titans. Of course, we don't know in what way exactly, but they're definitely connected. This was at least confirmed by Blizzard this bit. Now, we haven't seen the Titans yet, but if you paid attention to some of the details, you might have noticed a ton of different hints that the Titans are very tied into the Shadowlands, despite us not knowing their exact connection. The foundation is the fact that the Titans are beings of order. Before, we thought they were the creators of the universe, but now we realize that they're just planet-sized, colossal, arcane constructs that essentially represent order. As there is a free-for-all war going on within the cosmology chart and has been going on for eons, they're just one of the sides. Now, the different factions of the chart are not exactly opposite, and they're definitely all interlinked in one way or the other. For example, you do have the black and white bits, such as order and disorder or life and death, but many of them complement each other. For example, Titans are of the order plane, but they seed life, and we have seen them create life forms. This makes sense as life is right between light and order, and the other side is generally what we see as the enemies of life. Now, if we go by that logic, death is right between shadow and disorder, so you would expect this realm to be completely chaotic. However, you might have noticed that, weird enough, death is so incredibly ordered, almost perfectly ordered. You have this literal Titan-like city of Oribos with all these constructs and almost computer-like beings, and they just send souls to realms that each serve their own purpose and have their own guidelines, and everything is just neat and tidy. To me, this literally seems like the definition of order. If we go by the chart and look at where death is, it should be completely chaotic and completely disordered. Now, this is where the first ones come in. First ones are mysterious beings that are apparently above all, or at least that is what we think right now. They might be the closest we have to the actual creators of the universe. At the moment, almost completely shrouded in mystery, but there are some hints. For example, we know that the first ones created Oribos and Maldraxxus, and only Maldraxxus, which we'll talk about in just a bit. There are also artifacts of the first ones and relics, which means that they more than likely placed them across all these different realms. So my speculation is that the first ones are related to order, and that they might have ordered the Shadowlands by force. I'm guessing that was entirely different long ago, and maybe it was defeated, subdued, and order was enforced, and then these Titans of Death, essentially beings of order, were placed there sort of as Titan Keepers in order to keep everything in check. It definitely makes sense. The Natrius even says that he's working with the jailer as he is working for death, which means that maybe the jailer is trying to get back to the old state of things. It wouldn't be the first time Titans created a prison to keep a chaotic force in check and then gave the Titan Keepers the task to keep them there. Do old gods ring a bell? So to sum it up, it makes sense that the jailer long ago was like the leader of the chaotic death forces that might have been winning in the cosmology war, and then beings of order defeated him and enforced a very strict structure that since then has been in place. When you think about it, this is exactly what the Titans have been known to do. Long ago, while Titans were still roaming around, they used to find these chaotic planets usually ruled by the Void. They would essentially defeat the forces of the Void, imprison them, put their own constructions down, and enforce order and balance. While before we thought this was good and that the Titans are the good guys, I think they're just doing what is in their nature. Now, this is my speculation thus far, but it definitely makes a lot of sense, at least to me. But let's talk about the other hints that the Titans are involved with the Shadowlands, like the actual evidence. Aside from Oropos looking like the city of the Titans, there are two eternal ones that might be connected to the forces of order. First, the Winter Queen says that Ysera is her sister's pet, and I've talked about this in a different video if you want to get the details, but so far the evidence hints that this is in fact Eonar, the Titan of Life, and the creator of the Emerald Dream, and we know that the Emerald Dream is like a part of the cycle, same as the Ardenweald. Now, the second eternal one here is Primus. Primus is the leader of Maldraxxus, the military of the Shadowlands, and we know for a fact that this realm was created directly by the first ones in order to protect the Shadowlands from outside threats. Now, Primus is known as a military genius and was said to be able to revert back time and to see every possible outcome of a battle in order to analyze and improve, and he got this power from an unknown ally who could show him infinite timelines. Now, who created the Bronze Dragon fight and is the master of time magic? The Titan aman'thul. Could aman'thul be connected to Primus? It definitely makes a lot of sense if you really think about it. Additionally, Primus seems like the wisest of the Eternal Ones, and aman'thul is the wisest and essentially the leader of the Titan pantheon. Now, an additional sort of weak evidence is the memories of the Rune Carver. If we speculate that the Rune Carver is Primus, why does he possess memories of Eonar, memories of Norganon, and other Titan relics? This, to me, would be just complete confirmation of Titan influence, but if you look at it, he also has memories of Xuen and Xiao Hao and other unrelated ones. I can only explain this by the fact that he was an all-knowing master of war, so he could have known all the other powerful forces in the universe, even from Azeroth. So right now, many things hint that the Titans are definitely connected to the Shadowlands. Of course, at the moment, everything is just completely shrouded in mystery, but I do gotta admit that a lot of theories right now make a hell of a lot of sense. I mean, just look at Oropos and tell me this doesn't look like some sort of a Titan facility. Seeing as the Titans seeded life, created life forms, and organized things such as the Emerald Dream, and even imprisoned void creatures, there is no way they didn't know about death and were connected to it in some way, shape, or form. Thank you for watching. Check out how the light invaded the Shadowlands by clicking on the screen, and also check out Doronsmovies Academy for videos of real-world history and science. See you next time.